Hello everyone, SuperX37 here. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an overview of my Lego Marvel Mech collection, as well as how I display them. But before we get started with that, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe down below for more, as our support is very much appreciated. So now let's get started. We'll first start off with just my very crude display for these mech sets. We have them just all kind of sitting here on the shelf. Some of my favorite ones up front, including that new 2023 Ghost Rider mech and the motorcycle. But I think I would like to eventually upgrade this display to have some of them up higher on some acrylic risers or something similar to that, just so you can actually see them all. So be sure to keep an eye out for a future video where I'm actually going to update this display and add in the 3 new mechs that got released in 2023. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at all the ones that we currently have. And then at the very end, we'll kind of rearrange the display and see what we can kind of come up with for that. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the collection. Starting with my least favorite mech, and we'll work our way up to my favorite mech that I own. This is the most recent Spider-Man mech that we got. This came in the 2-pack that also included a Green Goblin mech. And I think this one just looks a little bit weird. I like the big shoulders. I do think the bulk is nice for it, but these weird, long, lanky arms are kind of what throws it off for me. It only has 2 fingers, which use these ice skate pieces, which it's just a really weird mech. I do like the print on the centerpiece. It kind of gives me Iron Man type vibes, and the minifigure is pretty good too. It does have that really cool Spider-Man arm printing, but not the dual molded legs. So this is my least favorite mech that I have. So let's move on to the next one. Next up we have our Captain America mech. While I do really like the prints in this set, like that chest piece and the really big printed shield, this one just overall is kind of basic to me. The Captain America figure that we get in this set is nothing special. He does use that really cool helmet piece, but no arm printing, no leg printing. He does just slide in just like any other mech. This does have a really cool feature on the back of the leg, where you can hold the minifigures version of the shield. But yeah, other than that, it's just kind of a pretty boring mech. The shield is nice, like I said, but that's really the only good thing about this one. Next up, we have another Spider-Man mech. This one came in a dual pack as well, this time with the Dr. Octopus mech. This one is a little bit better than the other one in my opinion. It is kind of skinnier, kind of sleeker, but unlike the other one, this one has these really skinny feet, which I really do not like. They're only 1 stud wide, and it's just kind of hard to get the mechs to stand up on them sometimes. It's actually standing up. Well, there you go. See? Really hard to get the mechs to stand up on them because the feet are just so skinny. This one does have a really cool web pieces where they're actually in trans clear. I don't know if you can really see that or not, but they're actually really cool web pieces. The middle print is alright. Nothing too crazy. And the minifigure is actually a lot better than the other Spider-Man figure because this one does have arm printing and dual molded legs. So really cool figure there. The back of the mech also has these 2 little web thrusters, which are a little weird, but yeah, overall this mech isn't the worst mech in the world, but it's just kind of basic to me. Next up we have the newer Black Panther mech. This one does actually have a really cool printed piece in the chest with those 3 spikes, and I really do like the hands on this one, but again, it's got those stupid skinny feet. And again, this one's just kind of boring and basic to me. The back, nothing crazy going on. Like I said, I do really like the claws, and the little pop-up screen is pretty cool too. But other than that, there's not really anything special about this one. The minifigure for this is just the normal comic book version of Black Panther. No leg printing, none of that. A good figure, but nothing absolutely insane. Next up we have the Miles Morales mech, and this one actually suffers the same fate as the last 2, where it's got those skinny feet, and it's just an overall kind of boring looking mech. I do like the blue webs that come in this one. That's something very unique, and I don't think it's come in any other set besides the Miles Morales car that came out this year. But what saves this one is actually that Miles Morales minifigure. This figure is so awesome. And this is the only other way to get this figure unless you buy the big $350 Daily Bugle set. I really like the jacket and the hood, and those dual molded legs are awesome as well. So yeah, that's why this one is actually ahead of the last 2, because of that awesome Miles Morales figure. Next up, we have the newer Iron Man mech, where this one includes a little shield on one arm, and then the newer stud shooter on the other hand. This one, I really like the gold and red color scheme on it. It does have that little hint of light blue as well on the knees and on the shoulders, and obviously the big shield. This one is a really good looking mech, but not as good as the other Iron Man one in my opinion. The middle chest print is alright for what it is, but the figure in this set is, again, a really awesome exclusive version of Iron Man, where it's mostly gold with only red highlights, and I think it's a really interesting variant of Iron Man, and something we don't really get all that often, because most of the Iron Man suits are done in red. So yeah, that's our first Iron Man mech, and this one is not as good as the other one, like I said, but this is still a really awesome mech. Next up, we have the Thor mech. And this one might seem kind of basic just from the outside, but if you actually start taking a look at it, this one is very detailed. Starting with the big Mjolnir build, it actually uses these sticker pieces on the hammer to kind of create that little lightning effect, and I really like that. The printed piece in the middle is also really cool with that kind of circle armor design that Thor always has. And one cool thing about this is you can actually put the hammer in either hand, because it's just held in with a Technic pin, so you can switch the hand up if you like. It also has stickers around the waist, which creates this really cool belt design, and I really like it. It also has a spot on the leg to store the real Mjolnir for the regular Thor minifigure. And if we flip it around back, this one actually has back detailing, where it has the little shoulder clips for the cape. Then it kind of has a resemblance of his red cape on the back, which is really cool. The figure in this set is also really awesome with that helmet, and I believe the only other way to get this helmet piece was in the Thor Ragnarok sets, which are now pretty pricey. So this mech was a must-have mech if you wanted that Thor helmet. So yeah, overall, really nice mech here. I love the Mjolnir build, and that minifigure is just awesome. Next up, we have one of the first mechs that we got for the Marvel line, and it is actually the last Spider-Man mech that we have in my collection. It is the original Spider-Man mech that has just the basic white webs, a really bulky design. I really like the bulk on the shoulders and the legs. It's kind of a chunky mech, but I really like it actually. The centerpiece is a little basic, but I like the spider print on it. And on the back, this one does actually have these 4 little claws, which are really cool. And I actually think it's a nice detail to add. You can kind of move them up and down a little bit. Not too much movement, but cool nonetheless. And you also get these stickers for the feet, just to give it a little bit more detail. The figure in this one is, again, nothing crazy. This one doesn't have any arm printing, no leg printing. Just a pretty bare-bones Spider-Man figure, in my opinion. But the mech itself is really awesome. Next up, we have the first of our villain mechs, and this is the Thanos mech. This one also came out in the same wave as our last Spider-Man mech, in the very first wave of Marvel mechs. And this has this really awesome build for the Infinity Gauntlet, including all the gems, and I think it's a really awesome look for a mech Thanos, or a mech Infinity Gauntlet, rather. It does have another pretty cool chest print, nothing too crazy. A couple stickers on the arms, too, so a little extra detail there. I really like the gold on the shoulders, and around back, this one doesn't have anything. The Thanos minifigure does have some really nice leg printing, but I've never really understood the whole Thanos minifigure and Hulk minifigure thing, because they're bigger than minifigures size. They deserve to be big figs, but I understand the kind of the comic, the funniness of having the Thanos minifigures and the Hulk minifigures. But yeah, our first villain mech is Thanos. Really cool Infinity Gauntlet build. Pretty basic otherwise, though. Cracking our top 5, we have our Iron Man mech. This is the first Iron Man mech, and it's actually the first mech that I actually got from this line. It has this really cool repulsor blast in the palms, and a really big cannon right here on the top. I really like the arc reactor print for the center, and this is actually done in a little bit of a different way, using those 1x2 cheese slopes. The back of it has that really cool mount for the gun, which can kind of swivel around. You can aim it wherever you need to aim it. The shoulders have these really cool sticker pieces, and on the feet as well. This one is very poseable too. I really like how you can kind of get it in this arc reactor shooting pose. Really like that. And the minifigure from this one, if we can get him out without taking his helmet off, is just that newer comic book style Iron Man. Nothing too crazy here, but still some pretty good printing overall. So yeah, number 5 in our list goes to Iron Man. Next up in our mechs, we have our next villain mech, which is the Green Goblin mech. This one, I absolutely love the build for this one. It has this really cool tail type thing sticking out, which I believe is supposed to represent his hat. And it also has these 2 stug shooters on the shoulders and these really big menacing claws. I really like the centerpiece of this one. And it also has all these nice little spike detailing going all the way down the legs, which make this thing just look that much more menacing. And honestly, even though this one does have the skinny feet, it is not that hard to get into some good poses. This one is pretty stable overall. But yeah, really awesome mech for Green Goblin. Before we get into our top 3, I do want to go ahead and mention some honorable mentions. These are all of the mechs that I actually do not have in my collection, so I didn't feel comfortable including them in this list just because I haven't built them, haven't experienced them. I don't know how stable they are or anything like that. So first up, we have the Venom mech from the Spider Jet set. This one is one that I wanted to get, but I never got around to getting it. It's kind of an older one, but one day I do want to add this one to my collection. And then the last 3 of our honorable mentions are actually 3 that just came out in 2023. We have the newer Thanos mech, we have the Hulk mech, and we have the Rocket Raccoon mech. All 3 of these look really good, and I do want to get them eventually, but for now, didn't have room in my collection for them, but we will have them at some point. So yeah, there's a lot of honorable mentions and all the mechs that I do not have, so let's go ahead and get into our top 3. At number 3, we have the Wolverine mech. This one has the really cool X-Men logo on not only on the belt, but also on the chest. It also has these huge claws to go with it. And with this being only our 3rd X-Men set of all time, this one was definitely going to be up there on my list. I'm a huge X-Men fan, a huge Wolverine fan, and this mech is just really awesome. It's got the big beefy feet so it can stand up and hold the weight of those claws. And getting another Wolverine minifigure is always awesome. This one is exclusive to this set. Does have the really cool cowl piece and a really nice torso print as well. So yeah, number 3 in our mech list goes to Wolverine. Our runner-up for the best mech set in Marvel is actually this Doc Ock mech. This one came in a 2-pack with one of the Spider-Man mechs, and this build is just incredible. I love the arms, and I actually use this arm build for my regular Doc Ock figure as well. A really cool chest print there, some stickers on the feet, and this one is another one of the kind of bigger and bulkier ones, but I think that really works for Doc Ock as a character, because I mean, you think of Doc Ock, you think of a heavy hitter, with the big arms, and obviously he's really smart too, so he would definitely be able to build a mech similar to this, and I really love the detailing, especially on the back. It is actually kind of smoothed off there, which I really like. The minifigure in this one is kind of unofficially based on the Spider-Man PS4 game, which I also really like. I really like the torso print there and the face print with the goggles. And you got those 4 little armholes for his arms coming out the back. In my opinion, this mech is the best singular mech, but it did get beat out by one set. And that set is the Ghost Rider mech and bike. This is just an absolutely incredible design for not only the bike, but also the mech. The mech in and of itself is actually not that detailed. The mech is actually kind of boring. I really hate these new joint pieces that they're using because you can only move the arm now at the shoulder, and you can only move the leg at the hip and at the ankle. So I really do hate these new joints. But overall, the mech itself is kind of cool. You get these really cool spike details on the shoulders, like is on his leather jacket. Get the chain that wraps around him, which is a really cool detail. His little claws are another new piece for this set, and I actually do really like them. I think these are going to make their way in a lot of more mech sets in the future, and I think it's a really cool piece for the mechs. The minifigure is the Johnny Blaze version of Ghost Rider, and unlike the other mechs, he actually sits down in this one instead of standing up, which is different. But I really like this figure. Johnny Blaze is one of my favorite Marvel characters in general, and I'm finally glad to have a figure of him because I do not actually have the original Ghost Rider set back from, I believe, 2013 or 2014. something like that. But what really completes this set is the motorcycle build. And I really hope they do more of these like big mech accessory type sets, because you can't have Ghost Rider without his motorcycle. And this motorcycle looks incredible. I love all the fire sticking out the back. He's got, if we flip it around to the other side, you can see some more fire on the wheels and that really big printed piece right there on the front. It's a really awesome looking bike. And if we put Ghost Rider on the bike, it's absolutely awesome on there. I really like all the fire coming out, like I said. The orange on the mech really does highlight the orange on the bike as well. And just overall, this is an incredible set, and definitely the best mech in my opinion. So now let's actually move on to the fun part, and go ahead and build our display for all these Marvel mechs. So here's what I went with our new rearranged display. I tried to put some of my more favorite ones up in the front. Then we have the Ghost Rider bike sitting over there to the side, because that one is a little bit hard to place because it's so big. But yeah, we got Iron Man, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Thor, and Thanos right here in the front. Then behind them, we got Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Black Panther. And then behind that, we got the other Iron Man, Miles, Captain America, and then the other two Spider-Man mechs back in the corner. So let me know down below in the comments which of these mechs is your favorite, and if you guys have been collecting them all as well. And let me know what you guys think of this display, and be sure to keep an eye out for a future video where I upgrade this display again with those acrylic risers to kind of get them up in the air a little bit. So yeah, with that being said, thank you all for watching. SuperMex37, signing off.